Welcome to Discerning News, where we bring you current stories from a bigger picture perspective. The purpose is to inspire clarity and enthusiasm for your unique journey. If you are needing some inspiration for your journey today, you can come to the right place because it is the spiritual new year. We have our guest in the house, Tiger Coll. Hey, Tiger.
Hello, everyone.
Tiger Coll.
Tiger in the house. So we are going to be inspiring you with some spearing. That sounds weird.
Oh, that's weird.
Some spearing. Well, anyway, yes. So this is the spiritual new year. We do this episode every September because that's when the new year starts, September through August. And we are here to inspire you of what is coming up this new spiritual year. Tiger, you want to kick it off?
Sure. The theme of this spiritual year is Spear of Inspiration. That's
where all the daggers came.
So I'd say that one way to do it is if you could say in, say, 2 minutes or less, what's the very first impression that comes to you to this spiritual year of Spear of Inspiration?
Spear of Inspiration.
2 minutes or less.
Okay, you got 30 seconds now.
One, just that a thrust of, I have to lead myself with my inspiration. I have to tune into my true feelings. I've got to do it. It feels like a year of me finding my inspiration within me rather than outside looking for the direction outside.
Yeah, for me, I feel a feeling of oneness, a feeling of wholeness, a feeling of completion, and which feels really inspiring to me because of the fact that we've been through so much the last few years, that this really feels like a time where each of us is going to have the ability to really go full in and full throttle up on what we've come to do.
Yeah, and similar to both of you, I picked up very similar things myself. I would say a key word would include the pioneer within. That would be a key thing, and recognizing that everything that we've been building up to this point, that I've been building, you've been building up to this point, now has its place for it to be the seed to be planted and for it to start to sprout, right? So to actually start doing something more overt with what I have, and also to be aware of that. What's actually needed is not to get pushed down. This is not about rebelling or fighting or something like that. It's just about being clean and clear with where I want to be.
Well, it's interesting because I know that many people, especially in the spiritual community, for many years now have been feeling something coming, have been feeling a newness, and have been feeling that there's so much change happening.
Yeah.
But then also a lot of people have been going, well, when's it going to get here?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
So I know for myself and for most people on a spiritual journey, it's an evolution. It's not tomorrow I'm going to be evolved. I'm going to be, rising up and wholeness. It's like is a progression throughout life of how much more wisdom have I gained because of the experience that I've had? How much more knowledge have I gathered for myself because of the things I've experienced and gone through. And I know for myself, especially lately, I've really been tuning into that aspect of, I've been here 57 years, now I'm into my 58th year. And I'm like, man, I've really put some wisdom together and I've really gained some things that I notice some of the people I especially work with that are in their 20s, some differences between the things that I've known and the things they know in their 20s and I know in my 50s, coming up to 60. So that progression, that ability to really, really grab a hold of the things that we individually put together for ourselves is really a key aspect for me in what we're coming into.
We exist in a highly intellectual world, and often the feeling part where your inner wisdom lies gets left out. There's a way to feel more in balance with all parts of yourself. This way is by accessing a spiritual bigger picture of who you are as a soul. Check out the link in the show notes to access a free video series created by the Wayshowers College to support your journey and moving through this game of life. Your intellect and feeling parts will love it.
Spear of inspiration. Reminds me of
Damn,
the little
Tom, you
kind of
said that already.
spear of inspiration.
Obviously, Tom is very inspired.
Well, I'm inspired to lead myself. And I feel the same vibrations of just penetrating. You know, there's often a tendency I might have had to look at others around me to inspire me, or find something outside of me to inspire, as I'd said earlier. But as I can see, like kind of breaking through that, you know, that wall of it's, you know, not solid, but that sort of that energetic resistance that I have to remind myself I'm here for my involvement. If it's going to be, it's up to me, you know. And all that means to me is when I'm talking about my spiritual growth, I'm the only one who can do it.
Right.
I've got help, I've got assistance, but I've got to make the decisions to, you know, work more from that inner strength of my true feelings, that inner power, and really quiet my mind so that I can start attracting and creating more of the life of my dreams, you know, refinement on what I've been putting together all these years.
You know, for myself too, this time of the year, I've often mentioned this, is that in September, I've always felt something new was going on. It felt refreshing and like, oh yeah, a new start. And that was obviously when the kids were going back to school or colleges started and things like that. And then when I started working with the Wayshowers College and started recognizing that, you know, they actually have a calendar called the elephant calendar, but I always call it an energy calendar because it talks about different energy waves that come onto the planet. And so during this time frame, a new calendar is released. And I really want to talk to Tyre, because he is obviously with the Wayshowers College, about because when I've mentioned this to other people, they're like, what is this about? You know, the spiritual new year, and what's this about energy calendars and stuff? I would like to give a little bit background of how did this even start coming into form, because I've never heard of or heard this from anywhere else about an energy calendar and also being a spiritual new year. That theme, you know, being themed and things like that.
Sure. Well, first the theme. First the theme. So you could say like we all are familiar with the ocean, and there is a tide to the ocean, right? If for those who've been around the water, you're very familiar that certain times of the day it's high water and certain times of the day it's lower, and this is just a cycle that happens on and on and on, and so there's nothing new about that. And so the spiritual year is almost like every year we have this wave that starts moving in, right? It's that wave that moves. It's, you know, we've had one last year, and we had and we're going to have one next year. So we have this all the time, but the waters aren't always the same, right? There's currents that bring things that are newer. There's things that, you know, that are stir stuff up. Sometimes the water's a little murky. Sometimes the water's crystal clear. Sometimes there's more chop. Sometimes it's more smooth. So there's uniqueness into that rhythm and routine. And so every year about this time is where that new wave of energy is set. And at a spiritual level, you know, the universe, your spiritual helpers, whatever you want to call that out there, there's kind of a resetting of all that. They know that this is next tide coming in, this next wave moving through. So that's the time where it's important to start identifying what it is you need and want so you can allocate energy for it. Right? It's almost like saying, okay, we're going to start a new venture. Think about it this way. This is more, get your head around this, right? So imagine starting a new venture with some people, right? A business. Okay, well, we need some capital. We need to know what we want to do. We want to know where we're going to go. You know, we need to put these things together. So you start building the energy for it early, and then you start implementing. Now you start doing this, you start opening bank accounts, you start talking to people, you start getting, you know, that happens after you set the energy. That happens after the idea and bringing together everything you need. So right now is the time to bring together everything you need. And then it's amazing what starts showing up because you allocate the energy. Spirit is behind you. The big picture is behind you. The universe, whatever you want to call that, starts saying, this is clear what they want. They're right on top of the wave. Let's go for it. Now, the energy is always there to be clear. Like, oh no, I missed something. Well, you won't miss anything. But it's kind of like saying, I'm swimming with the water, right? That those who have like been on the water, like you surfing, I'm thinking a lot of water analogies here. But there's that energy of surfing with the water as opposed to having kind of catch up to it. Mm-hmm. And then there'll be other waves as well. But, why not get onto it now? So that's another aspect of it. And the final aspect of it is the tradition of around this time. So that's been going on for thousands of years. That's not something that was just dreamed up yesterday. There is, a time of the season is changing. There's also just traditionally there's been a shift at this time so that we're organized to go forward. Right. And it started as a spiritual thing. This was a spiritual thing that was been traditionally done at this time because they identified that there was this thing that was happening, right? The solstice and all these kinds of things, right? Some people go by the moon. But the point is there's this rhythm that seems to happen around this time of the year. And that's why the traditions will have certain ceremonies around this time. So we've kind of stripped some of that away, the tradition of it, the theology of it, and just you're working with an energy now that happens. It's kind of like the calendar year. We all do our New Year's resolutions on December, right? And then we have them so January 1, we're getting started, right? So there's that same energy that just has been there and established so that we can do something with it at an inner level, right? The inner. Because without the inner, no matter how much money you have, even though it's the right kind of problem to have, if I don't have the inner clear, there's not a whole lot of fulfillment. So recap is this time of year is a time to there's a new theme coming in. Each year has a unique theme to it, a feel to it. And it's kind of like saying, I'm going to still do everything I need to do, no matter what the theme is, but why not be aware of it so I can utilize the tide in my favor? And then the other part of it is there's just this time of the year where things are lined up just right to have that fresh energy. And that's been a kind of a tradition on planet Earth for thousands of years.
Spiritual growth is not a race. It's a gradual progression. You do not have to spend 24 hours a day working on it in order to feel more inner peace, deeper connection to your soul purpose, and feeling more confident in your daily life. The journey is all about balancing your physical and spiritual worlds. These two worlds are supportive for embracing the foundations of the real you. By just investing minutes a day for your spiritual part as you would invest in your house or other areas of your life. To gather more direction, clarity, and a new layer of inner awareness, check out the ebook set created by the Wayshowers College. Link and discount code in show notes.
For me, it reminds me of something we were talking about a couple of podcasts ago where we said, it's important that I just take a few minutes a day to regroup what I'm getting out of something spiritually or what my spiritual goals are. And again, like my spiritual goal is to feel like I'm in a flow or things are moving easily, right. And my energy feels, high, my alertness is high and I'm relaxed at the same time. So if I can take a few minutes a day and I'm aware of what energy I'm working with or what theme of the energy, as I tuned into what Sphere of Inspiration means to me, that's where the answers are, is for me to tune into that. And then what was interesting was as I heard you guys share, I'm like, yeah, that's the feeling. He's putting it in different words, but it's a similar feeling as to what I picked up. So by taking a few moments a day or a week to just regroup some of my opportunities as I move through the year and see what energies I've been working with, and to know up front what's the best timing for certain activities based on the energy that's going to be there or where the emphasis is going to be. So it's not like, I'm in family energy. That doesn't mean that I can't do business in family energy, but there's more of a, it's going to be more of a relaxed fellowship, nice relationship vibration as I move through that business. Whether I'm in action, I might like really get a lot done and just do it.
You're just jumping right in, Tom.
Yeah, I'm jumping right in.
We haven't talked about the calendar yet, buddy.
Oh, but we're gonna.
No, he's being prophetic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for myself, back to just the energy overall, is that I've really been able, because I've been working with the Wayshowers College now for, I guess, 8 years. And I've really related to the themes of the year. I mean, it's exactly like what I'm going through or what I notice the collective is going through. Right. And so, talking about the ebbs and flows of the ocean, it makes such sense because of, again, that, the time of the year, and what everyone's kind of experiencing.
Yeah.
So now let's talk a little bit about the calendar, the energy calendar.
Yeah. So the energy calendars are they're at least as good as astrology.
I think really good as astrology.
Yeah, I mean they've even been referred to as an maps, calendar or energy maps even. And it's just to let you know there's 3 aspects of it depending on which you want to get involved in. But this most basic one is there's these 7 basic energies that we work with and that we're all connected to one way or another, whether we like it or not. You could say it's our family, you could say that our universal family. And so we're affected by that, just as like for those in astrology, they may say, the Mercury is in retrograde or, Jupiter's over here or whatever, and this has an effect. This has an effect. It doesn't keep you from doing what you want to do. It just, hey, this is happening. And so same thing with these energy calendars, with the energy map, is sometimes there's more energy to really get involved and go, 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 go. Sometimes it's more of a time to regroup. And you can still go and still accomplish, but just being aware that there's more of a feeling of that introspection, looking at where we need to go and what did I learn from this situation? Or maybe there's that kinship with people, right? Or that feeling like, hey, listen, I need to be on task. I need to do what I need to do, right? Keep my direction clear. So there's 7 of those. And so it lets you identify that there's a series of days that are coming up, and maybe it's Monday through Wednesday or something like that, or whatever it is. There's these blocks of energy, blocks of time that allows you to become aware of what that energy is, what's that pattern, so I can work with it. And I know that, okay, this is what you're saying. That says that, oh yeah, the environment is kind of going through this. They're kind of regrouping right now. Okay, I want to plow through and get some stuff done. Now I know how to do it. Now I know how to move through it in a way that I don't have to fight the environment. I can work with the environment. I don't have to fight people on it. I can work with people on it.
Yeah, no. And when I found this calendar set, it starts September through August for each new year. And man, it just lined up so perfectly with what I'm feeling day to day. I mean, it's uncanny. So I have been loving these for the past 8 years and share them with as many people as I possibly can because they're so wonderful in understanding what you're feeling every day as you go through. And I will let you know that down below in the show notes, I'll have September's. I have one month of September that you can check out. But you can get them in quarters, you can get them in the whole year. But man, I tell you, for myself, I love my calendar so much.
Yeah, it's really great to know what's coming up. And also the concepts that I'm going, depending on what level you get, the concepts I'm going to be facing, and then work with how to change my thought patterns or my thought habits as I could talk about them. So I think they're really great. We've done some episodes with an astrologer, a number of episodes last year where we would, without giving him forewarning, we would say, okay, what's happening here in the world of astrology? And he would say this and that. And we go, well, now let's tell you what's happening here in the calendar. Or vice versa. We swapped.
He was
around
blown
a
away.
bit.
We were blown away.
We were all surprised. He goes, oh, that's amazing because, in Saturn, this happening in Mercury, and I don't know much about astrology, folks. and I don't care. But I just like to read my little horoscope if it's good.
If it's good.
Stuff.
That is such a visionary.
Yeah. So yeah, it's really fun. I would say it provides a little bit of a roadmap from an energy, from a feeling point of view, and also balancing with a little bit of understanding. You know, it's like hints to playing the game of life on planet Earth, hints to the spiritual growth opportunities that exist. And yeah, I find them, really, really helpful.
So to gather more inspiration for your new year ahead, how about a little inspiration, Tiger, for wrapping up this? And
yeah, so focusing on sphere of inspiration this spiritual year, I would really say that the need to lead myself, the need to lead oneself forward is essential. There's preference, there's important, and then there's essential. It's essential this year, at this time, to start the practice now, lead myself forward. What does that mean to me? I have habits that work for me, and I have some habits that don't work so good for me. I can get caught up in stuff. Maybe I overindulge in food, or maybe I spend too much time watching YouTube or something, or whatever the thing is. Maybe I indulge in arguing or complaining or bitching or worrying or getting caught in fear. It is important for me to lead that now. I can feel that I'm getting involved in it. That's not what I want to do. I'm going to go do this. Or, hey, I love this. I'm going to do more of this. That simple act is being in harmony with the spiritual year. That simple act of leading myself, being in charge of myself, remembering that I cannot abdicate my responsibility to myself, which is what you're saying, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't raise my own state of consciousness, nobody will. It's that simple. So the short version is take that inner leadership seriously. You don't have to take it harsh. Doesn't have to be mean, right? It's all about I'm in charge of me and I can shine. And what everybody says is their opinion. I want to work with teamwork with people. I want to work within the rules and regulations so I get more done. But I need to lead it. I need to lead it wherever I can.
yeah, and I think my wrap up for this is about, with the sphere of inspiration, is really about staying present.
Yeah.
And really being in the moment of now, and not worrying about worrying about the future or feeling guilty about what you did in the past.
Yes.
Being in the now and really being inspired to do whatever the next step is for your life. And that's what I'm going to do. So for myself, I'm going to say, hey, what's the next step I need to do? And just take it day by day and enjoy every minute.
Yeah, because the fulfillment for me has really been in the spiritual ahas, the awareness, the involvement. And I noticed that, one step at a time, as I just become aware of thoughts, if I just become aware of the energy, I'm moving forward. I don't have to feel guilty that I had the thought. I don't have to feel bad that I'm still doing this habit. It's more like, that fear moves in. Okay, instead of ignoring it, what do I want to replace it with? And then with a little practice, with a few goes, you might say, of just replacing it with a different feeling and reminding myself of what's my spiritual agenda as I move through this experience, both physical and intellectual experience. That's where the healing can begin. So the first step is just becoming aware of the energy, the theme of the year, and it'll start to unfold.
Whether you are a brand new or returning fan of this podcast, we appreciate you. We appreciate you listening to the episodes that we create every single week. If you would love to support us by continually creating great content every week, please consider liking, subscribing, and supporting us monthly. You can find the buttons below to do all the above. Cheers to you and moving into our 6th year of sharing through podcasting. How about that? Well said, guys.
Yeah.
All right. So we're ready for being inspiring this year, right?
I'm loving it. I'm ready to do it.
Okay. Well, thank you all for listening to another episode of Enthusiastically Spiritual. We hope that you are inspired for the next 12 months and beyond to live your best life, show up for yourself, committed, direction, and rock it. Right?
Solutions in the spiritual.
There you go. So until next time, remember that life is too short to not be enthusiastic about your unique journey.
All right.
To keep the enthusiasm going, please like, subscribe, or comment below. We would love to hear from you.